Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," a phrase now often quoted but rarely understood in its full depth. Beneath this line is a world-shaking philosophy that challenges everything modern culture glorifies: comfort, security, predictability. Nietzsche was not merely being provocative when he railed against comfort. He saw it as a threat to the human spirit. To Nietzsche, comfort was a lie, an illusion that seduces us into stagnation and weakens our will to power. In a world obsessed with convenience and safety, his voice rings like a hammer against the glass of conformity. This is the story of why Nietzsche was right, and why comfort might be the very thing holding you back from becoming who you truly are. Imagine a life where everything is predictable. Your meals are on time, your thermostat never dips below a cozy 72 degrees, and your phone feeds you an endless scroll of pleasant distractions. Sounds ideal, right? But Nietzsche would ask, what are you becoming in that life? Are you growing, evolving, struggling towards greatness? Or are you numbing yourself into mediocrity? Comfort is the cage we choose because it looks like freedom. Nietzsche believed that life, at its core, is a struggle, a dynamic battle of forces, a constant becoming. He called this the will to power, not in a political or authoritarian sense, but as the inner force that drives living things to expand, to assert themselves, to overcome. Comfort suppresses that will. It lulls us into passivity. When you remove friction from life, you remove the need to strive. And without striving, there is no growth. There is only decay. Nietzsche's critique was not just philosophical, it was deeply psychological. He saw the human being as a creature capable of greatness, but only through suffering, resistance, and overcoming. He admired those who could endure pain, face chaos, and still choose to create. The artist, the warrior, the philosopher. These were the archetypes of strength in his world. But look around today. What do we reward? Convenience, likes, virtual validation, instant gratification. We've built entire systems to avoid discomfort. Our schools teach us to avoid failure. Our entertainment numbs the mind. Our relationships often seek security over intimacy. This is the lie Nietzsche warned us about, that in our pursuit of comfort, we would trade our potential for sedation. He wrote, "Man is a rope stretched between the animal and the Overman, a rope over an abyss." The Overman, or Übermensch, was Nietzsche's vision of the ideal human, one who creates his own values, who masters himself, who lives beyond good and evil. But to become that, one must cross the abyss. One must suffer, one must risk, one must face life raw. Comfort then is the refusal to walk that rope. It's the desire to remain on the side of the animal, safe, content, undisturbed. Nietzsche's challenge is not a call to masochism, but to engagement. He wanted us to feel life fully, to wrestle with it, to dance with it, to shape it. And you cannot do that while wrapped in the cotton of constant ease. To live is to fight, not with others, but with the self, with inertia, with fear, with limitation. The modern world sells us a version of happiness that Nietzsche would find hollow. He did not believe in happiness as comfort. He believed in joy as power, the joy that comes from overcoming. When you lift a weight that once crushed you, when you face a fear that once froze you, when you speak a truth that once silenced you, that is joy. That is the vitality Nietzsche revered. But it doesn't come from comfort, it comes from courage. And courage is only possible when danger is real, when discomfort is present, when the stakes are high. Nietzsche's own life was a testament to this truth. He battled chronic illness, isolation, poverty, and madness, but he produced works that have outlived empires. His suffering didn't stop him, it shaped him. It gave depth to his thought and fire to his words. He did not seek comfort, he sought truth. And truth is rarely comfortable. In his book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche presents a prophet who comes down from the mountains to teach humanity a new way to live. He declares, "I teach you the Overman. Man is something that shall be overcome. This overcoming is not a one-time event. It is a process, a struggle, a becoming. To live this way is to reject the easy path, to turn away from the numbing glow of entertainment and confront the silence of your own mind, to stop blaming and start building, to stop scrolling and start creating, to say no to comfort and yes to challenge. Our culture praises productivity but worships comfort. It's a paradox that leaves us burnt out and empty. We chase dopamine hits but not meaning. We crave approval but not authenticity. Nietzsche would call this decadence, the decline that comes when a society no longer has the will to grow. He would say that we are too tame, too afraid, too eager to be liked. But the Overman is not liked. He is feared, respected, misunderstood, because he is free. And freedom, true freedom, is dangerous. It's not the freedom to do whatever you want. It's the freedom to become who you must. And that path is paved with discomfort, with sacrifice, with the courage to stand alone. Nietzsche's philosophy is not for everyone. It's not soft. It doesn't coddle, it's fire. It burns away illusion. But in that fire you find something real. You find the raw materials of transformation. You find the edge where your fear ends and your power begins. Ask yourself, what comforts are costing you your edge? What luxuries are making you soft? What routines are keeping you small? If you want to grow, you must break. If you want to create, you must destroy. The path to greatness is not paved with pillows. It is carved in stone by blood, sweat, and will. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Your why must be bigger than your fear, bigger than your craving for ease, bigger than your addiction to comfort. Because life will test you, it will break you. And in those moments, the question will not be, are you comfortable? But, are you ready? Ready to act, ready to rise, ready to become. Comfort makes you forget that life is war. Not in the sense of violence, but of engagement, of effort, of purpose, of passion. When you seek comfort above all, you prepare for nothing. But when you embrace discomfort, you prepare for anything. Nietzsche's wisdom is not a relic, it is a revolution, a call to arms against the soft tyranny of modern ease. It is the whisper in the silence that says, you were not born for comfort. You were born to become, and becoming is the hardest thing you will ever do. But it is also the only thing worth doing, because in that becoming, you shed the false skin of safety and step into the wild truth of your potential. You stop waiting to be rescued and start learning to rescue yourself. You stop seeking permission and start writing your own law. You stop chasing happiness and start building strength. Nietzsche saw the herd, the mass of people clinging to comfort, to tradition, to sameness, as the true danger. Not because they were evil, but because they were asleep. To wake up is painful. To see clearly is to suffer. But in that suffering lies the seed of greatness. The question is, will you water it? Will you choose the harder road? Will you abandon the easy narrative and write your own? Or will you let the lie of comfort write your story for you? The world will offer you 1,000 ways to hide from yourself. It will tell you that comfort is love, that safety is success, that ease is the goal. Nietzsche tells you something different. He tells you that the truth is sharp, that freedom is earned, that greatness is born in fire, and that the only life worth living is the one you shape with your own hands, not the one handed to you in a velvet box. So the next time you feel discomfort, don't run. Lean in. The pain you feel is not punishment, it's a doorway. The fear you feel is not weakness, it's a signal. The resistance you feel is not a stop sign, it's a threshold. Nietzsche didn't want followers. He wanted creators. He didn't build temples, he built hammers. So take the hammer, smash the illusions, and build yourself, not in comfort, but in courage. Not in ease, but in effort. Not in safety, but in struggle. Because comfort is a lie, and becoming is the truth. Nietzsche was right. Comfort is a lie. And not just a small, innocent lie, but one that seeps into our bones, into the very structure of modern life, anesthetizing the human spirit. Today, we live in a world shaped around minimizing discomfort. Technology, architecture, education, relationships, Even our own internal narratives are designed to cradle us in a cocoon of safety, predictability, and ease. But Nietzsche didn't see comfort as salvation. He saw it as sedation. Because comfort, he argued, is the enemy of growth, of authenticity, of greatness. And to live a life surrendered to comfort is to betray the very thing that makes us human, our capacity to overcome. To Nietzsche, life is not meant to be easy. It is meant to be meaningful. And meaning, true meaning, only emerges in the presence of resistance. You do not grow strong in the absence of struggle. You do not become wise by avoiding pain. You do not forge a soul by hiding from suffering. You become who you are by going to the edge, and then further. But we don't live this way. Modern society tells us to seek pleasure, convenience, and affirmation. We are told that happiness is the highest good, that self-esteem is sacred, and that anything which feels hard or painful is a problem to be fixed, medicated, or escaped. But Nietzsche stands like a thunderclap in the middle of this soft ideology. He says no. Comfort is not the goal. Becoming is. You must become who you are. And that requires discomfort, agony, loss, doubt, confrontation. It requires you to go to war with yourself. Because only then can you become someone who is not merely a product of the world, but a force that shapes it. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche introduces the concept of the Overman, the Übermensch, a human who has transcended societal norms, moral constraints, and the soft lies of comfort. The Overman is not a tyrant. He is not a brute. He is the one who dares to look chaos in the eye and carve from it a new order. He is the one who creates meaning where there was none. He is the one who chooses the hard path, not because it is hard, but because it is real, because it is true, because it is worthy. Nietzsche believed that every person carries within them the seed of the Overman, but most allow it to die in the soil of ease. They choose the herd, they choose safety, they choose mediocrity, and in doing so, they betray themselves. Comfort tells you to stay where it's warm, to wait, to comply. But discomfort whispers a deeper truth. Move, break, risk, create. And this, Nietzsche would argue, is the call of life itself. A call not to be happy, but to be great. Not to be safe, but to be awake. Not to be accepted, but to be free. Modern psychology speaks of resilience. Nietzsche speaks of will to power, the deep instinctual drive not just to survive, but to transcend, to impose order on chaos, to shape yourself in the world according to your highest vision. And that vision doesn't come in stillness. It comes in fire, in rejection, in loss, in choosing purpose over pleasure, truth over popularity, solitude over conformity. Nietzsche himself lived this. He died alone, poor, misunderstood. But his words burn through time because he refused to flatter the world. He told us what we didn't want to hear, that we are soft, that we are liars to ourselves, that we are capable of more, but afraid to claim it. He didn't believe that truth sets you free. He believed that truth destroys you, so that you can be reborn. He wrote not for the masses, but for the few, those strong enough to endure his words, to carry the burden of becoming, to walk the path of self-overcoming. And if you're still listening, perhaps you are one of them. Ask yourself, when was the last time you were truly uncomfortable? By choice. When was the last time you stood at the edge of something terrifying and stepped forward anyway? When was the last time you rejected the easy path in favor of the one that demanded everything from you? These are not rhetorical questions. They are invitations. To Nietzsche, your life is your greatest artwork, not your possessions, not your titles, not your status, but your soul, your character, your becoming. And no great work is made in comfort. The sculptor must chip away, the writer must bleed, the athlete must sweat, the philosopher must suffer. To choose comfort is to choose stagnation. To choose becoming is to accept suffering, but to redeem it, to transmute it into strength, into clarity, into fire. This is the heroic life, and it is rare, but it is possible. Nietzsche believed in eternal recurrence. The idea that you must live your life as if you had to live it over and over again, forever. Not as punishment, but as a test. Would you say yes to your life exactly as it is? Or would you shrink from it, wishing it were easier, softer, different? If your answer is no, then change. Now. Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. Now. Because this is your test. And if you pass it, if you live a life worth living again, then you are on the path of the Overman. You are living beyond comfort, beyond the herd, beyond the lie. You are becoming. Nietzsche doesn't promise ease. He promises meaning. He doesn't promise peace. He promises depth. He doesn't promise heaven. He promises fire and the soul that survives it. This is not a path for everyone, but perhaps it is a path for you. If you're tired of being sedated by comfort, lulled to sleep by distractions, told to seek safety while your soul screams for freedom, then listen to the scream. Follow it. Let it break you. Let it build you. Because Nietzsche was right. Comfort is a lie, and the truth is waiting on the other side of your pain.